Live from downtown Tulsa, Oklahoma's own News on 6 starts now.
Today marks 29 years since one of the most difficult days our nation's faced.
We remember those killed and those whose lives were changed forever on April 19th of 1995.
But first, a man's in custody tonight after police say he was involved in a shooting last night, then ran from police today and took off running in a park packed with children and parents. Thanks for joining us. I'm Craig Day.
And I'm Lori Fulbright. Police captured Luis Chamiro Garcia at that park near Pine and Lewis. News on 6's Aaron Conrad is live with a man who was there and saw it all. Aaron?
Well, Lori and Craig, as you can imagine, all the parents and kids were pretty shocked by the police activity at the park this afternoon. And that witness, he tells me he jumped into action.
Luis Chamiro Garcia is in custody after he ran from police and ended up at the Springdale playground.
This vehicle over here was driving sideways, running from the officers. My wife's car is sitting right there. It missed it by that much.
Daniel Harris heard Tulsa police before he saw them and saw Garcia speed into the parking lot and jump out of his car.
The gentleman proceeded on running across the parking lot into this grass over here. I slowed him good enough down for the canine.
Garcia was wanted by police for a shooting we first told you about on Thursday. The warrant says Garcia shot through an apartment door where his ex-girlfriend and new boyfriend were staying and hit the boyfriend in the hip. Witnesses say Garcia carries a sawed-off shotgun inside the leg of his pants. The search ends after a takedown by a police dog.
As soon as the suspect's vehicle became immobilized, the suspect ran on foot through the park right here. The canine officer deployed his partner, Canine Diego, who was able to run down the suspect.
Harris says he still can't believe how close Garcia came to the kids on the playground.
I'm glad that the officers did what they did.
Well, Garcia was taken to the hospital before he was taken to jail to get checked out. He will likely be facing charges for running from the police on top of that charge of shooting with the intent to kill. Live in Tulsa, Aaron Conrad, Oklahoma's own News on 6.
Folks in Shawnee are taking stock of the progress made since tornadoes ripped through central Oklahoma a year ago today. The tornadoes destroyed or damaged 1,800 buildings just in Shawnee, including damage to Oklahoma Baptist University and Shawnee High School. The district recently passed 2 school bonds that will help replace buildings.
And it is that time of year when we have to be careful and prepared just in case there is severe weather. But all in all, right now, all is relatively quiet. You're taking a look at downtown at this particular moment, and this is what was an active night as far as Earth, and it was Earth Day preview as we were talking about conditions that were favorable for what's going on. As far as temperatures, they're in the 60s for highs today. It was nice. Humidity values tonight are very high in southeast Oklahoma. This is a precursor of things to come. As you notice, as you go further north and west, it is drier, but that humidity value is going to make a huge difference with the chances of rain. Right now, though, 50s to around 60 have been common across the area. As far as what's going on for this weekend, you need a jacket. Most of us are going to need a jacket. Some are going to need an umbrella. There's going to be some showers around and also some weekend sunscreen. Once that sun comes out, it's going to be deceiving. More on your forecast coming up.
Evil tried to tear us apart. Evil took the lives of 168 individuals and injured hundreds more. But we looked evil in the eye and we came together as one Oklahoma.
Today marks 29 years since the Oklahoma City bombing. Timothy McVeigh used a truck bomb on April 19, 1995 to blow up the north side of the Murrah Federal Building.
Oklahomans are remembering those lives lost in the bombing. This is a live look at the Oklahoma City National Memorial and Museum tonight. It tells the story of that tragic day and how Oklahoma showed resilience in moving forward. People attended a remembrance ceremony there earlier today. They observed 168 seconds of silence and listened as the names of the 168 murder victims were read.
The memory of April 19, 1995 is a lesson to every American. There is no place for political violence in America.
Shortly after the bombing, the Oklahoma City mayor created a task force to come up with a way to honor those killed. The outdoor memorial was dedicated 5 years later, and the museum opened in 2001.
People from around the world come to learn from our history and witness our efforts of memorialization. By embracing the values of compassion, understanding, and hope.
The Oklahoma City bombing also injured nearly 700 people. One of the youngest was a boy inside the daycare center. That little boy is now 30 years old. News on 6's Deanne Stein talked with P.J. Allen about the effect the bombing still has on his life.
P.J. Allen is the youngest survivor of the Oklahoma City bombing. Now at age 30, he says he's still on a journey to find his purpose in life.
It's something like my office.
For P.J. Allen, that office is a KC-135 inside this hangar at Tinker Air Force Base. And he says stepping into this massive military aircraft never gets old.
Still, I'm excited coming here every day to work on something new.
Today, it's on these flight displays inside the cockpit.
Everything you do here, you're going to do here.
With trainer Donis Smiley.
If it has a knob, a switch, a button, it's ours to take care of.
The 30-year-old is still in avionics training to help keep these military planes in the air.
I find working on planes is my way of helping out, doing my part. Keeps it closer.
For an event that changed his life forever. PJ was just 18 months old inside the daycare center of the Merle Federal Building when it was bombed, thrown from the second floor. His mother, Dolores, remembers every detail from that day.
This boy landed in concrete debris. They had to dig him out.
The blast melted the interior chambers of his lungs and left him with second and third degree burns over half of his body.
It was touch and go for a very, very long time.
But he survived.
Learned to ride a bicycle.
And hasn't missed a thing.
I try to make him as inclusive in a normal life as possible, even though he had limitations. I'm proud of PJ. Very proud of PJ.
It'll always be a part of me. There's nothing I can do or want to do to change that.
But PJ says he feels blessed to survive and will always remember the first responders who helped that day, each day he goes to work.
I feel like my way of giving back and showing appreciation is me making sure these planes are ready to help protect our country.
In Oklahoma City, Deanne Stein, Oklahoma's Own, News on 6.
Most folks remember exactly where they were when the bombing happened, including our reporters and photographers, and few stories have been as difficult to cover as the Murrah building bombing.
Even years later, we can still remember the people we interviewed and their stories. Leanne Taylor talked with some of our current and former co-workers about those experiences, and you can watch her special called Terror Hits Home right now at newson6.com.
Tulsa police arrest a man they say raped a 15-year-old girl. Officers say the girl was walking near 11th and Sheridan when Yonder Ramirez drove by, then followed her slowly. She says he pulled a knife and told her to get into his vehicle. Police say Ramirez drove her to a park, made her smoke something, gave her beer, then assaulted her. She escaped and ran nude to a nearby home for help. Police say Ramirez denied ever picking her up, but surveillance video from the city's real-time crime center shows differently. He's also charged with 2 DUIs.
A Jinx man is headed to federal prison for nearly 20 years after driving high on meth and killing an innocent man after he had already been convicted of DUI 4 times. It happened in 2019 and traffic had slowed on Highway 412 because of a wreck. But Bradley Wofford did not slow down. Instead, he slammed into the victim's car from behind. Wofford pleaded guilty to second-degree murder. Scotty Dilbeck was the one killed. He was on his way home from work at Google in Pryor when he was killed. He was a Navy veteran. He had been married 22 years and was a devoted father and grandfather, and he loved to ride motorcycles.
A jewelry store owner in Grove is frustrated after he says he received an empty package that was supposed to have more than $50,000 worth of his customers' jewelry inside. He
is hoping to get that money back from UPS to pay back his customers, but UPS tells him he didn't have the package insured for enough money. News on 6's Caitlin Deggs explains what's next for him.
Steve McFall has shipped jewelry this way for 8 years and had 0 problems. But now one lost package is causing a huge problem for his business. Steve McFall says this is the package that was dropped off at his store, Brothers Jewelry, in Grove. He says there were supposed to be items for 21 customers in the box, worth more than $50,000.
It was heartbreaking for us because most of these people are friends, and they've become family over the years we've been here. They've trusted us with their most valued possessions.
He says he now has to come up with the money out of his pocket to pay his customers. But of course, some of those items are so sentimental, they're irreplaceable.
There was one instance that the son took it off of his dead dad's hand right as he died.
UPS sent us a statement that says in part the package was shipped without additional insurance, which is available for high-value packages. As a result, the package was valued at $100 plus the cost of shipping. Steve says insurance is steep for packages of that size, and he doesn't feel like it should be needed if it doesn't leave the UPS system.
Well, if you're going to send something valuable through UPS, make sure you check on the insurance and how well they're going to pay you on the insurance.
Steve has this message for whoever took the jewelry.
Karma is going to come around, and when it does, I hope it bites you in the butt really well, because you will, you know, it always comes around.
Steve says now his business has hired somebody to drive the jewelry back and forth. In Grove, Caitlin Daggs, Oklahoma's Own, News on 6.
The Oklahoma Highway Safety Office wants people to know just how dangerous it is for people to drive while high on marijuana. April 20th, or 420, is celebrated by some marijuana users as an unofficial weed smokers holiday. So several counties will have extra patrols out tomorrow to watch for people who are using the drug and driving. The agency says the drug slows down your reaction time and it affects a driver's ability to stay in their lane.
Somebody that takes any kind of prescription medication or even uses illegal drug, they're using that to make them feel different. So then in turn, it's going to make them drive differently.
The Oklahoma Highway Safety Office says people using the drug should treat it like alcohol. So find a safe ride home and keep the keys away from any of your friends who are impaired. Well, things could get a little chilly and a little rainy over the weekend. Travis tells us when and where rain could pop up this weekend across the Osage Casino Skycam network.
And we'll show you the way the Oklahoma Sooners are remembering the late Toby Keith during the spring football game.
But first, a Green Country school goes all out to celebrate a veteran finally getting his diploma more than 50 years after he left high school. A Fort Gibson graduate is late getting his diploma by about 50 years. He didn't graduate with his classmates because he got called up to serve his country.
Veteran Jimmy Watkins showed up for graduation, and his classmates from 1973 were there to celebrate with him. Watkins and his class walked over to the auditorium where the superintendent handed him his diploma after 51 years and said his photo would now be added to the class picture. Watkins served in the Army for 21 years and did tours in several countries.
I don't really know how to put it into words, but these people went above and beyond anything that I could have done. I mean, I can't believe they did it, and I appreciate it.
And we appreciate your service. The group also got to watch a performance of Vivia, the new musical written and produced by students and faculty to celebrate Fort Gibson's history.
Broken Arrow High School is helping Make-A-Wish grant a little girl's dream come true. 6-year-old Brooklyn was diagnosed with a brain tumor, and students in the high school spent the school year raising money to grant her wish.
Brooklyn is wishing to go to Disney World, which is an amazing wish. She is a princess fanatic, so she's going to get to meet all the Disney princesses. We're really excited to have groups like Broken Arrow High School helping, allowing us to grant more wishes.
Those students raised almost $7,500.
Well, the OU Sooners are honoring Toby Keith during their spring game tomorrow. The football team shared a photo of the new paint decal honoring Keith. Fans will get to see it on the field tomorrow. The spring game is now starting at 2:30 tomorrow afternoon instead of 1 because of the weather.
From the Bob Mills Weather Center, the Oklahoma weather expert, Travis Meyer.
And as we look at some of the new data, some of that weather doesn't look too bad. But today, man, it was cold. Bismarck at 36. This is a very, very cold late season air mass up to the north of us, and some of that has sunk down into our area. So there's kind of a battle zone going on down in the south, and it looks like the main part of the battle zone will be down into Texas. It was 94 today, though, in Phoenix. Wanted to just jump all the way to May and June and July. We're looking at above normal temperatures across much of the country as they expected forecast, and that is from the Climate Prediction Center. Also, precipitation looks to be heavier to the east, drier to the west. New Mexico needs rain, so this is the last thing those guys want to see. Pacific Northwest doesn't really want to see that either, but the southeast is doing just okay. We have had a little bit more of a problem. It quit raining, and in April it doesn't quit raining, but it did. And so we're looking at some serious dry conditions, extreme, not quite there yet, but we're at severe, and just in the north central section of the state. And here in eastern Oklahoma, where it's never like this, it's a little bit more dry than it should be by any stretch, or any stretch of the imagination for anything going on, except if you want to do fun activities in the weekend. So we have the Tulsa Zoo run tomorrow. It'll be chilly in the morning, but really not too bad at all. Almost picture perfect. Winds out of the northeast. Party at the fort, 200 years. Fort Gibson, congratulations. And we're looking at temperatures in the 60s. We could get a bump to near 65 in the afternoon. And we've dropped our chance of rain from 30 down to about 10%. There is a brief period of about 20% for the afternoon, but overall, not bad. Take your rain gear with you because there's going to be enough to be a bit of a problem. Sand Springs Herbal Affair going on tomorrow. If you're a gardener, you got to check it out. Again, passing sprinkle, enough to be a nuisance. That should be about it. So the odds of showers in the morning are very slim, better farther south. So if you're down around McAllister, Stigler areas and extending around Lake Eufaula, I-40 south, pretty much you have the best chance of showers. By the time we get on into the afternoon hours, we still have only a passing sprinkle or shower around northeast Oklahoma. And then to the south, very good chance of rain. Could be a rumble of thunder. But if you want heavy rains, you're going to have to go south. Because we just don't have much of that. We could get a 1/10 of an inch at best, probably. And then you get down south of I-40. Some areas are going to pick up some very heavy rainfall. Most of that's going to be down into Texas. Well, things are quieting down tonight as we kind of get into the Earth Day weekend. Monday is Earth Day, but we did have a lot of events downtown, and that's going to go through the weekend. We're at 59 degrees. Light north-northeast wind. Dew point is at 34, so that air is really dry, and I was showing you that. 50s right now to near 60 in the metro. Clouds are a little thicker to the south. Some of those clouds will be in the area in the morning in the 40s. And it'll be partly sunny to cloudy as we go through the afternoon. And then we'll see temperatures just struggling a little bit, kind of like they did today, but we had more sun. And then maybe just a nuisance sprinkle coming through in the afternoon, but we should get up into the mid-60s, so not too bad. Across the entire state tonight, all is relatively quiet, a little bit milder south. Panhandle is dry and cooler, so there's going to be a battle zone between that dry air coming in from the northeast and warm, moist air coming over that. So we will see that chance of showers developing tomorrow. But again, as you look at it, the best chance is going to be primarily from I-40 south, and that's one of the reasons why down around Norman they're kind of holding off, just because there is a chance of initially some showers and storms. 40s on Sunday morning, and then by Sunday afternoon we're going to break out with some sun, and we should be in the mid to a few upper 60s. About 73 to 75 would be considered normal for this time of year. And sunscreen, you better be aware because it's cool. Who's thinking of sunscreen when it's chilly outside? Nobody really thinks about it. But if you're in sunshine, be advised. And we do have chances of strong to severe thunderstorms mainly for next week, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And then temperatures start getting a lot warmer next week. So if you're waiting on that, we're going to find it for you. 55 as we work our way through the morning hours to 48 early morning. 65 in the afternoon. Then we get into the 70s. Earth Day is looking good. So we're not complaining about that on Monday. Chance of an isolated shower on Tuesday. And then scattered storms Wednesday night, Thursday, Friday, and into Saturday as, yes, of course, we have severe weather. All right, that's a look at the weather. We'll be back with sports.
Driven by your Oklahoma Ford dealers, this is the Friday Sports Blitz.
A time-changed Oklahoma spring game tops the Window World Sports Desk. Due to predicted rain and lightning during the morning and early afternoon, OU has pushed the start of its spring football game back to 2:30. Gates are scheduled to open at 1 o'clock. It will be the Sooner offense in red against the OU defense in white. A unique scoring system is in place for the ball game with head coach Brent Venables adding a target score to begin the fourth quarter. This is far from a real game, we all get that, but the last time we saw quarterback Jackson Arnold in his first ever start in the Alamo Bowl, the former five-star recruit turned the ball over 4 times. As you see there, yes, there was plenty of good against Arizona as well, but Arnold knows the standard of playing QB at OU.
I feel like there's pressure everywhere you go playing quarterback, especially at a school like this, going to the SEC for the first time. There's going to be pressure for anything I do, and I don't think necessarily being in that lineage adds more pressure, but I mean, it is awesome being behind Heisman winners like that.
To the NBA now, where the top-seeded Thunder is watching the Kings and Pelicans duke it out as we speak for the 8th and final playoff spot. Now the question, does OKC really care who comes to the Paycom Center on Sunday to start its first playoff series since the 2019-2020 campaign? Well, the players, they're just enjoying this contest like a casual fan. The Thunder is 4-0 against both Sacramento and New Orleans since the new year. Both clubs are dealing with injuries. The Kings are without Malik Monk, while the Pelicans don't have star Zion Williamson. Last check, Pelicans lead it by 10 in the third. Here's OKC on the matchups.
We've played both teams multiple times this year. I don't think either of them has made too many changes to their roster. We kind of know what they present and their challenges.
Obviously, playing the West Conference team 4 times in a year, you get a good feel for them after a while. After the first game, 2 games, and we've played both these teams 4 times now. So, yeah, we understand obviously both their strengths and weaknesses.
To Stillwater now for the Big 12 tennis tournament. Number 1 OSU women facing Texas Tech in the semifinals. Cowgirls going to work in doubles. Ayumi Miyamoto, nice finish right between 2 defenders at the net. OSU takes the doubles point. Singles now. Anastasia Komar ranked 15 in the nation. And you see why backhand just too hot to handle. She wins her match. Cowgirls win it 4-0. They advance to the finals just like we all thought. Other semifinal action now. Sooners facing the Longhorns. Could we have an all-Bedlam final? Well, it started out looking really good, folks. OU took the doubles point over Texas, but then the Horns responded in a big way, dominating the singles. UT won in straight sets in each of its 4 victories. Horns win it 4-2, so it's OSU and Texas for the Big 12 tournament title tomorrow night at the Greenwood Tennis Center. Men's side of things, it was quarterfinal action this afternoon. Both the Cowboys and Sooners take care of business. OU sweeps Texas Tech. OSU beat UCF 4-2. Sooners face TCU tomorrow. Pokes get the Longhorns. AAC Men's Championship going on over at Tulsa. Golden Hurricane fall to Rice in the quarterfinals this afternoon. 4-1. Star Pierce Rollins did secure the 1 point for TU. Oilers hosting Kansas City for Game 3 tonight. Tulsa down 2-0. Need a big win and some magic. First period, it's the Mavs, though. Breakaway. Justin Knockbar goes top shelf for the goal. Oilers do get within 1 in the third, but they fall 3-1. So, must-win situations. BOK Center on Monday night for Game 4, or it's been a great season, but now it's over.
Not great enough.
Not great enough. You got it. So.
Thank you.
Get out there and knock somebody's tooth out. Some kids kicked off the weekend on the dance floor with their teddy bears.
We're going to take you to this very sweet teddy bear bowl. Some adorable kids got all dressed up and took their teddy bears out to a special dance tonight in Tulsa. Whiteside Park Community Center hosted the Teddy Bear Bowl.
And you can see it was a real deal dance. Lights, music, everything. Kids all dressed up, bears all dressed up. Look at that.
Very fun. Cool. What a clever idea.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Perfect.
All right, quick look at weather.
Hey, it looks fantastic. Just a little bit on the cool side. Unless you're in southern Oklahoma, southern part of the viewing area, it's going to rain tomorrow. So be prepared and keep smiling.
All right, everybody smile for the weekend. That's your instructions right there.
Keep smiling, Green Country. Good night.